Welcome to the Dream Podcast, where we explore cultures, values, and the happenings around our society. I am Emmanuel Shein Maigari, and today we'll be exploring a very interesting topic titled Fast Money. It is so alarming that everyone in this society wants to make quick money. Nobody believes in hard labor, nobody believes in sincere source of income. So you see young people dabble into things like Yahoo, into cultism, and into gambling. So today, with me in the studio is my co host.
Patience John.
And we also have a guest to help us look into this topic. And this guest is a very renowned. Let me hold it. She will do the introduction. Her name is B. You're welcome, B.
Thank you very much.
So, B, it's good to have you in the studio with us. So, can you please briefly tell us about yourself?
Okay, my name is B, and well, I like to consider myself a you know, talented person. Like, I have multiple interests. I'm multi-passionate about a lot of things, about music, about baking, about style and fashion, and just a host of other things like that. So, yeah.
No.
She bakes too. So it's like I also have a rumor that some people are preparing for weddings, so I think we should patronize. Okay, to take us further, looking at the present economy, will we say it is peer pressure that makes young people say hustle must pay? You hear that word
Yeah.
flying, hustle must pay, but many are not patient as to what they want or as to what they should do to make the hustle pay. So a lot of them venture into all manner of things to want to make this money fast, not following due process. So what do you think could be the cause of all of that?
Honestly, I think for me, it's I would say comparison one.
Okay.
Comparison is a huge one, and then secondly, probably a lack of contentment, and I would also say probably just the genuine desire to be successful. Honestly, if you really want to be successful, like there's really nothing wrong in desiring success.
Okay.
So people would take all kinds of routes just to get there, but when it comes to making fast money or all of these other quick money schemes, I would attribute it to just comparison. When you compare yourself with maybe your peers of the same age, people younger than you are achieving things that you have not achieved, is enough for you to either get motivated or be pushed to do the things you're not supposed to do just because you want to make money. So, comparison and lack of contentment.
Don't you think to balance that, don't you think greed is also part of that equation?
Anything that will make you compare yourself to another person is rooted in greed.
Whoa, is rooted in
Yes,
greed.
it's rooted in greed. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So in the past, people worked hard and waited for years to make real money. But these days, fraudsters just want to gamble and buy houses and many, many things. Do you think do you think this discourages the honest people from working?
Yes, it does. It does. There's this trend on social media. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I saw it um, on YouTube. I think that we are plagued with something called consumerism. We are a generation of people who loves to consume a lot of things. I'm not talking about food, but just luxury items. We want to have the best of things, the best of shoes, the best of clothes, the best of things to ride and all of that. But when we see people who do not do much kind of get successful overnight,
Yeah.
it begins to make you question why will I work so hard? Do you understand? I have to look for other ways to just get this thing done because this other person is okay. Let me give a classic example. Recently, I'm sure we're all aware, there was a 30 days rant that went on
Yeah, on TikTok.
and all
Yeah.
of that. Now, one of the very popular influencers, the girl that does AI, Jadrolita, I don't know if that's
Yeah,
how
Jarvis.
it's pronounced, Jarvis. And I think she was on live video with somebody else, and then she was talking about how why are we the boyfriend had already said we shouldn't do the 30 days rant, And then she was like, oh, we can afford anything. We are rich. Why do you think that we're going to engage in this kind of stuff? Now, this is somebody who got fame through social media, through audience. There are other people that are on social media, doing social media content, that have not really gained much. They've not even made money from doing content for years. And this person, I don't know how long it took her to get that kind of fame and all of that. But if another person who is a social media content creator is comparing their journey to her that has reached the limelight, is enough for you to start questioning if my input into this thing is actually paying off. So I would rather look for other routes that will make me get the success quickly, because it doesn't make sense anymore. There's no correlation for input and output. People are getting it quicker, and I'm still doing the same things, and I'm not getting the exact result I want. So it's enough for people to want to just follow shortcuts. Honestly speaking, because it can be frustrating.
Okay, I want to also ask this question. You see, people give excuses in this day and time that the reason for them going into illegal ways of making money, they attribute it to poverty. And on the other hand, you see people who are coming from, let me say, a good background, well brought up background, still following all of those schemes to also make money. So do we really attribute all of that to poverty?
I would say yes and no at the same time.
Okay.
Because for one, like I said in the first question, is a lack of contentment. These are things that should be taught at our basic root level of just growing up. These are things that I don't know who was supposed to hold responsible for that, but I just think a lack of contentment is one of those things. And then I've heard stories of people who, I don't know about guys, but probably ladies who have walked into certain lifestyle, not because they wanted to, but because of the situation at home. We have parents who are literally encouraging their child. I don't know if, I know it has happened to me, where maybe I'm trying to talk to someone and I'm just explaining how maybe I don't have money or something like that. And the person's like, you're a girl now. You're a fine girl now. You are supposed to, they expect that there's one man in your life that will sponsor anything you're doing. It's a norm, it's a normal thing. It's something that people say. So you see parents who are even encouraging their daughters, and they're like, you are beautiful. You are supposed to just have somebody that's supposed to tell you, call you fine girl. Yeah. Any man that will call you a fine girl is supposed to just want to do financial stuff for you. So whether you come from a poor background or let me not say poor, but a privileged background or a less privileged background, it all boils down to mindset. It all boils down to upbringing. What your parents has emulated as you are growing up, as you are watching that. It all boils down to that. There are people that will not want to do certain things, but their parents will force them into it. I know ladies who have dated certain guys, they did not want to date because already their mom already started, demanding stuff from that guy. So they are forced to be in that relationship just because, my mother has already gone ahead of me and done certain things. So whether you are from a poor background or you are from a privileged background, it boils down to your mindset and to just, upbringing and all of that. That's what will determine it, in my opinion, actually.
Okay. So Yahoo, ritual and gambling have become common ways where people want to make fast money. What do you think is driving these trends?
I was talking about consumerism the first time. The truth is, the lavish lifestyles of, let's say, I will not even say celebrities again or something.
Really?
Because we see ordinary people too that are portraying that kind of lifestyle. It's no longer celebrity and all of that. And growing up, I know that when I was growing up, and the Nigerian movies I used to watch, or the things we used to watch, they don't make this something like ritual, for example. Yeah. People like their Kanayo doing ritual, they did not make it look easy. It was like something hard. You have to think about you have to think about yourself very well that you want to do that kind of thing. Yeah. But now it's so easy. I don't know how they have watered it down in such a way where whether you want to do ritual, you want to do Yahoo or anything, it's just a very easy process. You don't have to think too much all through your process. You just make the decision and then you just do it. Growing up, I did not. It's it's not something that there's nobody that will look at you and they'll tell you that, oh, they one day want to do money ritual, because it was not something that was attainable. Now it's now more like it's closer. It's something that is around us. Even if you don't want to, we have stories of young guys who are going to places like Ghana or whatever African country, just to, when they go and do something for a few months, they come back and then they have all this kind of money. It all boils down to the showy lifestyle we have now on social media. Before, social media was just a place where people will, people were lying. But to an extent now, people are saying the truth on social media. They're showing a lot of stuff. Content like a day in the life shows you a lot about people's life. And then you're seeing how somebody's living their life every day. All the things that if they're able to attain at a certain period of time, it's enough for you to want to do things. Now, this, I'm not justifying that doing Yahoo or ritual is good. But we need to understand that as humans, the pain for survival can be very painful, for a lack of better word. It can be very frustrating. So people are forced to do things that they don't even want to do. But it really takes having a strong upbringing, and then just having the right mindset, and then not lacking contentment for you to not fall into these kind of things. But it questions the whole fast money thing. It questions your desire to even work, your desire to even give in your best. I mean, there are success stories out there, but then how many success stories can we truly look up to and say, oh, we can do this too? How many?
Okay, while you were speaking, I began to think about so many things, and one of the things I would love to ask you, in your journey as a multi-talented person, have you been faced with situations that you feel the options were little and you just wanted to just make it to and just prove a point and all of that?
Yeah. Okay, so there was one time I found myself in this very dicey relationship, and at that time I'd lost my dad. I was supposed to be in school, and I thought that I met the love of my life. Understand? So it was later when that relationship ended, I knew that this guy was narcissistic. I didn't know the word at that time when I was dating. Just afterwards that I learned all this kind of. I didn't know there was a language for what was
that
particular situation. But then, what kept me there is the fact that I had school to go to. I'd lost my dad. My mom was not up and doing what I say. Like you know when you see people that are from certain homes that the mom is like she's doing everything to. My mom she had health issues that could not even allow her to do anything to earn money for.
Too bad.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I found myself in that situation. Plus, I was the friend that other friends can ask for money, so I had to stay in that situation, even if it was toxic, even if it was abusive. I didn't like the experience. Now, what led to that was that I was actually looking for admission to go back to school, and there was no money for that. And then I remember going to a site to look for a job, just to, even if it's blocked, let me just be carrying like that. So it was from that experience, I was falling sick because I was not wired for that kind of hard labor.
Yeah.
And then I was falling sick. I had hyperpigmentation, like my whole face was I was always wearing a round neck shirt. So everything, when I undress, everything is just dark. Then the rest of my body is a different color because I was constantly exposing myself to the sun and all of that. Now, it was a lack of money, and my mother was helpless and couldn't do anything about it. I had to go out and fend for myself. In the process of that, I landed myself. One of the jobs I got was with a man that kind of offered, I think 3 or 4 days when I was working, he offered to be my boyfriend.
Okay.
So I don't have to work, I don't have to labor like that. And I was tired.
Yeah.
Like that. But I quickly learned that was not going to be sustainable. And then I landed myself in this other situation where this guy had the money. He had everything, as in, I just had to stay because I must go to school. I must pay my bills. I was living alone at the time. Plus, I had friends that were kind of dependent, and they'll reach out to me or something like that, and then I just had to be there.
Okay.
If I knew better, I would have done better, but I did not know better. Do you understand?
Yeah,
I had
I
no
do.
business being in that relationship, but situations led to that. Did I lack home training? No. I never had a time when my parents sat me down and told me, oh, you're supposed to, the only way to make money is through a man. No, never. If there's anything my dad taught me was we should be very content. So we're very content, but I just found myself in a tight situation. And that's why I said previously that it's not like I'm justifying the whole Yahoo, the whole anything. Sometimes people can be pushed. Like my friend will always say, she'll say never. You don't know when you're going to find yourself in certain situation doing things that you had no business doing, because that's the only way to survive.
So, about your experience, I feel, but come on, I know you're out of it and you're
Of
better.
course.
Yeah,
So,
obviously.
now I keep looking at you, and I keep seeing you speaking or saying what you're saying with passion. It means there's so much you have to say. Now, would you really say sometimes situations can alter one's upbringing to push them to
Yes.
begin to live in a
Yes.
certain way they didn't really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Situations do that. I have friends too who have made certain mistakes
yeah.
just because we found ourselves in certain situations.
And that does not negate the fact that you were properly brought
Yes,
up.
yes.
You had cultural
Yes,
values.
we had cultural values,
Oh.
but we just found ourselves in certain situations. Now, I've always heard this quote, like I've heard it for years, and it has stuck with me. It says, smart people learn from other people's mistakes,
Mistakes,
but
yeah.
super smart people learn from. No, smart people learn from their mistakes, but super smart people learn from other people's mistakes. So you don't have to always make that same mistakes for you to learn your lessons, or how would I put it? But now, once I realized that, okay, this whole decision I made got me in a very messy place. I'm sure my friends too did the same. Some were no longer friends. Some we just moved on, like we just grew apart and all of that. But for me, one thing I did was I took responsibility for myself.
Okay.
So I had to force myself to remind myself who was I really? Who am I really?
I was actually going
Do you
to
understand?
ask based on your story, how were you able to come out of that particular?
I had to make a decision to just come out of it.
Oh,
And then it was this relationship I was telling you about lasted for like 6 years, and it
whoa.
took me 6 days prayer and fasting to come out. I'm not even going to lie on that one, because
Hold on, please.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to digest it now. 6 whole good years.
Yes.
In a relationship.
yes, it
What
was
were you?
stuck.
You were building to a Babel.
I wish at least you'd have built something, and then you would have seen.
When I keep asking, you say we're building a
We're building a
relationship. 6
relationship.
years. Is it Tower of Babel?
Obviously.
So for me, I stayed in that relationship for
For
the
6.
financial
Oh.
part
Part
of it.
Okay, so permit me now to say.
That was why I
Permit me
was
to
there.
say. So you were actually in the relationship because
Yes.
there were benefits in
Yes,
Yeah,
financial
yeah, yeah.
benefits.
the financial benefits.
Yes, financial benefits.
Okay. I rest my case. I wanted to. All right. I rest my case. Okay. There's this argument that society glorifies wealth, right? And so long you make the money, society don't care how you make the money. And so a lot of people, you spoke about social media earlier on, a lot of people come on social media to flaunt all manner of lifestyle, and people don't even care to know if it's true or not. So they just want to buy into
Yeah.
what they see. So do you think social media, musical videos and all of that contributes to pushing people to want to live an exuberant lifestyle or something?
I won't even blame social media or even music videos, because these things were there before now. It's just that it's not in our face the way it is now.
Oh, okay.
You understand? Social media had just, maybe because of the whole craze for, you can get paid being a content creator. And even when influencing was a thing, it was not, like even among your friends, I don't know, somebody can tell you they're an influencer. Influencing before was not like this,
Yeah.
the way it was.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it is now, it was not always like this. It was a far-fetched something. It was not. Even if they sold something to you, it's very unlikely that you're going to buy into it, just because you feel like, oh, these people are just up there and me, I'm here. There's no way I'm going to. But now, like I said, it's just in your face all the time. Plus, we are a generation of people that we're just obsessed with consumerism, and we're just consuming. If you go on TikTok, things like hashtag clean talk, hashtag what's this other hashtag? I can't remember right now. But just to the clean talk, for example, is an example of maybe I want to show off that I'm cleaning my space. The amount of things I use to clean just one sink, it can be like 7 to 8 different cleaning products. Do you understand? Or maybe I'm trying to show that I'm trying to organize my maybe fridge or my room or something like that. The amount of products that you see in that, the influencer is not telling you to buy those products, but for the single fact that you see how organized their space is, you see how they're just, it's so beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing. Nobody will tell you too, you want to buy those kind of things. And how else are you going to buy the kind of thing if you don't force yourself to make extra or some form of money just to be able to buy that? If you cannot make it legally, you're going to go through any other route just because you want to have that thing. So you want to have the same type of things in her pantry, you want to have the same kind of things, whatever closets they are or whatever dresses they are wearing, that's the kind of thing you want to wear. So just because of how they organized it, how the whole thing look, it's consumerism that is causing this whole thing. And social media is helping it because they keep showing us
things on a
so
daily basis.
You keep having this desire to just want to buy, to just want to consume, to just want to. The more I buy, but how else are you going to buy? How will you make the money?
Okay, some ladies now date and marry men strictly for money, not even when they know that the source is illegal. Do you think this is part of what pushes men into fraud and rituals?
Okay, for I cannot speak a lot about men because I'm not a man. But the little I know is that I believe that men are wired to provide. I believe that men are wired to provide. So I can only imagine the frustration of a man when he's not able to provide for, let's just say, provide for himself as a man. Then talk more of maybe you now have a partner or a spouse or a family and you cannot provide for them.
Yeah.
That alone can be, I think, can be devastating. It should be. I'm not a man though, but it should be. We should question you if that is not even your problem, if that doesn't bother you. But of course, the kind of person you are with, they always say, can either make or marry you. I heard a story of a lady who literally told her boyfriend, like, please, you have my permission to go and do Yahoo, because the kind of lifestyle I want to live, you're not giving me right now. And it will not be bad if you do this Yahoo thing so that I can be able to live the life I want to live. Some people do that just for love, just to, I really like this girl and I would want us to be together, so they want to do anything, even if it's not like the best of things to do, they'll want to do that.
Okay.
But the whole idea of either dating up or marrying up, I think they call it, is it hypergamous relationship or something like that? It just came to my head. This one is, ladies are just being intentional. Like you don't date broke guys, you don't talk to broke people, this one is your life plan. You are intentional about, it's a goal.
Amazing.
You achieve.
Amazing.
Seriously, you don't talk to broke guys, you don't date broke, your circle is not broke people, because you know that you want to get into that class of people that have money like that. So like I shared my personal story, it was not something that I intentionally walked into at first, but I just found myself in a situation. I'm like, you know what, and besides, the other guys that were toasting me, they were, all of us were struggling. How are you going to help my life? So it was just logical for me to make that kind of stupid decision.
I love your choice of word logical.
To make that kind of
might
decision.
be logical might not really be right.
Yes, might not be. So that's why when the whole thing, I had to end the whole thing. I had to take responsibility for myself and make a decision. I cannot continue putting myself in this kind of financial mess that will still put me in situations that I have no business being in, like that. So,
okay. You see, there's something that is trending right now. It's called this sporting betting, and it's gambling actually, and it has now gone beyond men, women too do sport
Really?
betting. Yes,
oh wow,
Yeah.
I thought it was a
I have a
man's
friend who
thing.
does that.
women do sport betting.
Oh
You get the whole idea?
yeah.
From where I'm coming from, women do sport betting, and one thing about that is it has this addictive power that holds you, that you can actually give your very last. I know a man who opened his wife's box, took out the wrappers in her box, like expensive wrappers, sold them just to go and bet. One thing about gambling and sport betting is it keeps giving you false hope that you go make on tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
you go tickets, suppose tickets, and you go concords. You get the whole idea. I feel part of pressure to want to prove a point is what is making people look for that means as a shortcut to want to meet up with life's challenges and all of that. So, do you think that, in all honesty, do you think that for either men or women, sport betting or betting sports, sporting bet, I don't even know how to put it, it's actually a proper way for anyone to make money?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's just like the whole I'm trying to look for the word for it. It's more like a facade.
Okay.
It's like you said, a false hope. And the only time that this thing is going to work is, the only time they're going to get more people to patronize them is when maybe they just allow 1 or 2 or 3 people win some certain amount of money. That gives the other participants hope that, oh, one day I'm going to make it. So we've seen it happen with things like MMM. MMM used to be a thing before.
Yeah.
And then some of these online Bitcoin thing, like the hamster that was going on one time. I don't know how that ended.
CEO.
I don't know if you see you, but I know
You
the
know
hamster.
hamster,
There was one
CEO.
rabbit that was
Yeah,
always. I used to
CEO.
see people do that. That tapping thing.
Yeah,
They are doing
Yeah.
Tap.
what do you call it?
Tap,
Hamster
community.
and
Yeah, I know
what's
hamster. I don't know the others like that. So there was a time where people were like, "Oh my God, some people got money." They would naturally, these companies would naturally want to pay off some people just so that they can lure you in, and then you are still there spending all of that. Now, I don't remember where it is in the Bible, but the Bible talks about how anyone that chases money, that money develops wings and it flies.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. That's not just a biblical principle, that's a real life principle. The more you are so focused on just chasing that paper, you never ever really get
Have
to
enough, yeah.
have enough. We have stories of celebrities that we even attain success and then they just die, they kill themselves in their mansion. I thought you wanted to be successful and you had a big house and you had all this money and then you kill yourself. What happened? There's more to that than just let us have this money. But the more you are into it, because it's a facade, you can be like, oh, maybe if I get this, like the sports bet thing, if I win now. I've heard stories of people in just even our local areas. These guys already, maybe they got 10 or 20 M, and then just like that, the money, they blew up the money. There was one I heard that died in, is it Las Vegas? One of the clubs in Kaduna. I think somebody stabbed him with a bottle or so. So he took his friends out. This was years ago. He took his friends out after he had gotten the Bet Ninja whatever, and then I think that he just bought a car. I think, I don't know if he got a house. I mean, he rented the house. I don't know. I can't remember how the story went, but we heard about the story when there was a death rumor in Las Vegas that he went out with his friends. I don't know how it happened, and somebody stabbed him with a bottle. That was somebody that just won, was it 10 or 20 M, just barely a week ago. And you did not even stay to even enjoy the money. So we've had stories like that. It just gives them false hope. Oh, I have this person that he actually did it and he won too. So you just keep going. You're pouring in all of your investments, all of the things you're supposed to, valuables you're supposed to be using for other things. You're pouring it into these companies. You're making them richer. And it may not even be your turn. Because I strongly believe that they randomly pick a winner. It's not as structured as they make it seem. They just randomly pick somebody just to compensate people for all of the energy that they've been putting. I feel like it's like a puppet something. You just do whatever and then. So I don't believe in it.
You know, you made mention of you quoted a biblical scripture. Now that reminded me of where I'm coming from. The community I come from, I was not told. We do attend the general Can week of prayer. So I know these men as pastors. Like I know them as pastors, men of God. And close to my house, there's a betting center. And I've seen like 2 or 3 of those pastors walking in and out of that betting center. Pastor too, they look for miracle. Do you get?
Yeah.
Do you think it's biblical that because you hear people quote scriptures that are not even they quote nonsense that are not in scripture.
Yeah.
You hear people say something like heaven will help those that help themselves.
No.
And I've not
No,
seen
no,
it. In case
no.
you have seen it.
No.
So now, is it right for such people, let's say either a Christian or a Muslim, or should actually be involved in gambling or betting?
No, that's the word alone. Gambling tells you, it gives it off. Like, what are you doing there? You're gambling. That's what you're doing. It's not going to work. Even if it does, it only happens for that period of time, and it's not even. They like to say maybe it's luck or something. For me, I see it as is structured, is organized. They just randomly pick somebody just to compensate the many users or the many subscribers to their platform, so that it will not look like, oh my God, and maybe the person they compensate is now your guy. So you're like,
my guy
gets
me go
me
get
go soon get, and then you're just there and you're just going, and then it may never ever be your turn.
You hear people say if God is
Yeah,
your neighbor, it means it's
in your neighborhood. Yeah, so you just keep having false hope, and it's not going to. What if and it might even be that there are stories of people who maybe they just started this bet thing, and they cashed out. You've been there for a long time. You will not cash out. You will still continue to be there.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to.
Stakeholder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so if we want to stop this fast money mentality, where should we start from? Is it from our homes, schools, religious organization, or where?
I think it begins with just taking personal responsibility for yourself, especially when you become an adult. You cannot make certain mistakes as an adult or do certain things and expect somebody else to come and clean up your mess. You should be adult enough. That's part of being an adult. You should be adult enough to take responsibility. I was listening to Tony Elumelu, one interview that he was doing, and he was talking about how some of the foundational financial principles were the things that he has held on to that has helped him to become what he has become today. And he was talking a lot about savings and all of that. And he just made comment like, oh, even if you want to invest, you need to have saved to an extent before you can even invest. So when I say take responsibility, is that even if it's as simple as getting a job, that's where to start, but that's not where to stop. Once you get a job, take it further by learning basic things like just budgeting. Do you understand? Just living below your means or within your means. Those are some of the things I had to do. I've had to learn myself, because if I don't do that, I'm going to still find myself in situations where I'll either be asking somebody for urgent 2K or I'll be dating a guy just because he has the money. Do you understand? And if you're somebody that you have pride, you don't know how to be begging somebody for money, you will force yourself to learn the things you're supposed to learn. So just taking responsibility for yourself and just knowing that regardless of how popularized the whole fast money thing is, it's called fast money for a reason. As quickly as it comes, that's how fast it's going to go. This guy in Avengers, I don't know his name right now, but the guy that acted Avengers, I think it's the final scene where all of them came together, all the whole Avengers character came together. He's a black guy. He always used to wear black. And then he was talking about, I was reading a blog post where he was saying that I don't think that he doesn't think that it's nice for us to let children feel like success is going to come only through hard work. That there's a bit of luck that comes into play.
Wow.
Like that. So there should be balance.
Okay.
If I know that I don't want to, this fast life thing is just, or this fast money thing is just a facade. It's scam or something like that, or it's not sustainable. Let me use the word sustainable. It's not sustainable. You cannot always be having success at your fingertips just like that. Because if we do that, where is the room for growth? Where is the room for
discipline?
For discipline, where is the room for that? You may not really value anything you've not really worked for. You may not really value it as much, and that's why we have children who we can call spoiled brats. Families where maybe the parents died or left inheritance, and these kids just blew it up. They don't know how they probably the parents made the money, but the money is just there. And my dad has cars, my dad has monies, my dad has houses, so they just live there. Like, they can't even make sound financial decisions because they are not the ones that made the money. They don't know how it happened. So at the root of it is, if they did not teach you at home, which most stuff were not being taught at home, if you're not taught at home, once you become an adult and you're aware of this, the first thing to do is to take responsibility for yourself and just embrace a more decent lifestyle. Probably get a job. Once you get a job, embrace principles like budgeting, planning, and just living within your means. If there's something I really need, I want to buy, I force myself or discipline myself to want to save towards it. Halfway towards saving towards that kind of stuff, I can realize that I don't even need this thing again, safe. I did not want it the way I was wanting it. And then I can use that money for something else. Like that. So just forcing yourself to live by certain principles, that works. They've been tried and tested. It works. But your desire, the greed inside of you, the comparison inside of you will not allow you to do the work you're supposed to do. And it's really understandable. It's understandable because compared to, my age mates or people younger than me, I'm seeing what they're achieving, and it's like, it's a shame. I don't have anything to prove for myself. So I want to do the extra. I want to do things I'm not supposed to do just to, make an impression as if, like, all is well, all is good, like I'm achieving something for myself. Meanwhile, I am not. But then we must take responsibility as adults. Once you realize I am adult, take responsibility, imbibe certain principles, financial principles that will work for you, and then you just live by that, pending when you're able to now become successful or something like that. And I must add that, honestly, success is relative. For some people, becoming millionaires and billionaires, that's their goal. For some other people, success is just, I just have what to eat. I can be a blessing to another person. I can meet my needs. I can meet the needs of my family. That's fine.
Impact people in my confines.
That's fine. I may not be a millionaire. That's fine. So success is relative. So it depends on what you see as success. It will drive your passion. Yeah.
All right. Lastly, you have shared your personal stories, experience rather, and you have also spoken a lot. So now, what advice would you now give to anyone who is tempted to walk on this fast money route?
I would advise everyone, not both those that are tempted and those that are not. I advise you, first of all, read the book of Ecclesiastes because okay, the first time I read that book, I was pissed because it just makes you to see the frailty of success. Like, it's pointless.
Yeah, it's frail.
Working so hard.
Yeah.
And then it tells you verses like, oh, you work so hard, you don't even know who's going to come and finish all these things.
Yes.
And I'm like, this thing is not supposed to be in the Bible. I'm not sure this is correct. But I read it in different versions, and it's true. If you want to even be more frustrated, you read it in the Message version. Your mind is going to be blown. But anybody can start from there. And it just paints a picture of how the uselessness of working so hard or wanting to just be a success, to amass wealth, and then there's really, at the end of it, you feel like, okay, I made money for my kids, for my family, and all of that. That pikin fee not even get sense to manage the money well in the first place. Do you understand? So it's completely, sometimes it's pointless. Does that mean that we should be lazy and not work? No. Of course we should be. But once you read that kind of book, all the unnecessary ginger, all the schemes, all the gimmicks, all the pressure will just diffuse. You're not even interested because there's no point. There really is no point at the end of it. So just everybody should just be patient, calm down, like that. Just be patient and just do your part. Don't be mediocre, but just do what you're supposed to do. That's all.
Wow.
Okay, that's good. Well, this has been a very deep discussion. Indeed, fast money might be sweet at first, but the end is usually bitter.
Yeah.
So we hope this conversation has really helped you to discover a lot about the fast money scheme. So please help us and drop your own thoughts and comments in our comment section. And make sure you join and share. And join us next week. This is The Dream Podcast. See you next week. Thank you. And I remain Emmanuel Shane Maigari. Bye-bye.